so-called flying saucers.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the SA. It's rotating.
One last thing before you guys start this video, there's information that you guys probably haven't heard about or maybe don't know about. It's probably like halfway in there. I would say halfway in there. So you can take something out of it that you probably haven't heard in many places. Welcome to Kill the Stigma. You know, I've been trying to figure out a way to explain to people the history of this. It's difficult, man. It's really hard because there's so much information. Anyways, let's go back to at least 1947. That's the year that the National Security Act was passed. Basically, that's kind of like when the United States became superpower and the CIA was born, the Air Force was born. Democracy was pretty much done in a way also, especially when it came to important national security matters. All right, let's start with the most important case. In 1947, the first one, even before Kenneth Arnold saw those flying saucers, in my opinion. First Men in Black encounter. And here's a show, Project Blue Book. I love that show, and it's J. Allen Hynek, the guy that plays J. Allen Hynek. He's in Game of Thrones, talking to the Men in Black.
Now, what do you know about Maury Island?
Maury Island? What's that got to do with why I'm here?
Well, it's the most important UFO encounter in American history.
June 21st, 1947. Maury Island incident. First, well, that's what took off the summer of the saucers. And that was the first Men in Black encounter. And you had a lot of interesting people there, like Harold Dahl and Fred Chrisman, who was then somehow has some weird connection to JFK. And it's kind of a mysterious character. He's an intelligence officer. Also, plane crashes, 2 pilots died. Just an important detail. You can look that up. It's the Keyhoe crash. Then you had Kenneth Arnold 3 days later, June 24th. Then, see a bunch of UFOs. And then you had the Roswell. We all know about Roswell. And 1947 takes these sightings, man. They're just like going. Imagine the fear, dude. You have no idea what the hell is going on. Like, now, we're like, oh, whatever the hell this phenomenon is, it's like, it's all good. Like, they don't really, you know, sometimes they do bad things, but it's not like, they've been around for a very long time. So, it's not a big deal. We know we're not gonna freaking trigger the apocalypse, hopefully. All right, so 1947. Let's go with 1947. This is gonna include Kenneth Arnold, Men in Black, and Donald Keyhoe, first journalist who was pretty much an insider. Let's go.
Probably the first great one, and the one who really makes a huge difference, is this guy, Donald Keyhoe. A retired military man, a guy who then makes a career as a pulp fiction writer. So he's got connections to both of those worlds. And he is assigned by one of these pulp magazines to actually conduct a kind of investigative journalistic reportage about this topic. The UFO movement, as we know it today, really begins just a few years before this, in 1947. There's a private pilot by the name of Kenneth Arnold who's flying over Washington State, who sees these 9 objects flying in a pattern at enormous speeds in formation. And he reports this to the media.
Okay, I'll give you some information that most people don't know about Kenneth Arnold. You ready? Let's go.
I got to interview Kenneth Arnold's daughter, Kim Arnold. She's in The Phenomenon.
Yeah.
And I got to spend a couple of days with her and her daughter. And it was amazing to get the backstory because, you know, you have that phenomenal case in June of 1947, which pretty much was the beginning of the modern UFO wave. And it's where they coined the phrase flying saucer because he described it as a saucer skipping over water. And one of the reporters was like, flying saucer. And he was catapulted into the headlines all across the nation, all across the world. I mean, the Kenneth Arnold thing was huge, right? And she, a little backstory, she's like, oh yeah, my father was really, really famous. He was recognizable walking on the streets. Like everybody knew Kenneth Arnold. And he was going to go on just a little side story, but he was going to go on like a tour. He wrote a book and he was going to go like do all these conferences and he got a visit. And I was like, he got a visit? Really? She goes, oh yeah, he got a visit from men in suits, came in and they made it very clear he was not going to be doing that.
No way, he got spooked.
He got majorly spooked. She said
early.
That was my first experience hearing about these so-called, you know, men in suits. I hate to use the word men in black because it's got so much baggage.
Disney.
You know what I mean?
It.
Yeah. So I call it men in dark suits, you know.
Fair enough.
You know, but it was like that really kind of started in 1947 and I reported on it even recently in the program. But in any case, sort of as a side.
You think that was Blue Book? No, that was before Blue Book. That was way prior to Blue Book.
It was before I think anything really started because you had Project Sign.
Yeah.
Which started at some point in 47 or 48. Then you had Project Grudge.
So what was that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he was going to go on tour and they came and visited him and they threatened him, according to her. And this is what she told me. It was her dad.
Wow.
Like they threatened him. Like this is a big desert out here or something like that. You know, a big wilderness area. That's what she said. And I believe she even said that on camera. I should probably go digging for that and release it out into the public.
But that's not the first time you've encountered that type of spooky behavior. You know,
no, but that was the earliest.
That was the earliest.
47.
Since then, you've encountered quite a few stories of people being told to, you know, keep their mouth shut. Has that ever come across your plate?
Did you guys know that about Kenneth Arnold? Just saying. It's an interesting fact not many people talk about. I hear about the 9 saucers, I hear about June 24th, I hear about his connection to Maury Island even, but... Woo! Here comes Men in Black! It's the MIB.
And from that moment on, you start to see a wave of sightings across.
Time out. I'm sorry, did you see that lady that was just over there? She's looking at the sky? That lady, that's the McMindle 1950 Oregon case. She took a picture, a really cool flying saucer picture. It's authentic. You can go look it up. It's pretty cool. Nice flying saucer. 1950. Guess what? She also got silenced by some mysterious dude in a freaking black suit, of course.
I heard about real serious visitation of these so-called, you know, men in dark suits. And then I'd heard about it like a number of other times. I heard about it with the McMinnville, Oregon case. She got a visit. Then I heard about it with Rex Heflin. He had a visit with these guys in suits. With the 1966 UFO landing at Westall Primary School, science teacher named Mr. Greenwood. And then we found out he had a visit from men in suits, a General Parviz Jafari. And he told me, he was like, yeah, the next morning, like the encounter happened in the middle of the night. The next morning, a couple of men from the United States government, I don't know what agency they're from, they were there. Oh my God, here they are again.
There's a private pilot by the name of Kenneth Arnold who's flying over Washington State, who sees these 9 objects flying in a pattern at enormous speeds in formation. And he reports this to the media. And from that moment on, you start to see a wave of sightings across America. Keyhoe talks to some of his sources in the military and in intelligence, and he publishes in 1950 an article and a book later on called The Flying Saucers Are Real, about this phenomenon.
Is there any tangible evidence that these flying saucers exist?
Well, I'm positive they exist. The weight of the evidence makes it impossible to arrive at any other conclusion.
This book is really, really important for a number of reasons. First of all, the arguments it makes, that the government is pretty much convinced that these things are extraterrestrial in origin. Secondly, they're keeping it a secret because they're scared it's going to provoke a mass panic. And third, that the belief is that the aliens are now here for the first time because they've seen that we have exploded atomic bombs. They know we have the secret to atomic energy, and that concerns them. The other thing that's really key about Donald Keyhoe is that chapters of the book get serialized in newspapers and magazines throughout the world. So by the end of 1950, Donald Keyhoe and his arguments are known virtually across the globe.
Ladies and gentlemen, and that's how it all started.